Kahja Elliott, and I'm a food enthusiast. Bronx born and raised, ATL made, Bay Area becoming. And I talk to people about how they create community through food in the Bay and beyond. Welcome to the As Told By podcast. Welcome to this week's episode of the As Told By podcast. I'm here in the Bay this week. And if you're a regular listener to this podcast, you know it is all about talking to people across intersections of the food landscape. And you also know that I spend a lot of time in restaurants. And I came across this page on Instagram. It caught my attention and it made me really start thinking about a conversation where we're talking about food from the perspective of health and wellness. So I reached out and I said, hey, can I interview you? And he said, yes. So I came up here for an interview and I'm here in Richmond today at Natrully Herbs and More. This is a family business focused on bringing their love of herbs and wellness to the community, educating people on herbal alternatives and plant-based living. And I'm talking to Dasan, the medicine man.
That's right, Dasan, the medicine man.
Welcome to the As Told By podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Your Instagram is so informative.
I'm glad.
Yeah, and entertaining at the same time.
That's good.
Yes. I have been following along for a little while, and I said, wow, as a person who kind of is making a business of food, this podcast is all about food, but usually not from this perspective. So I'm very interested in this conversation today.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So I'll start us off with a question that I ask everyone. What kind of food family did you come from?
Well, I guess we would call it soul food. I've learned over time that soul food really means something much different than what we're accustomed to thinking it means. It's not all the greasy, chicken and steak and pork and all the stuff that we're used to eating, the macaroni and cheese. That's kind of what I came from. It's the fried chicken, the mac and cheese, the greens. Even when we thought we were being healthier, it was just eating from my grandfather's or my great-grandmother's garden, but everything still kind of had meat in it, even though it's like, okay, I'm eating some vegetables, but they putting some turkey neck or something in there to season it. Can't get away from the meat. But and a lot of pies and cakes and donuts.
So
and
traditional
peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Okay. I mean, sometimes I could probably me and my sister would go through a loaf of bread in a day. Making cinnamon toast and all types of stuff. I mean, and then my mother, she didn't really think we were really doing anything that bad like that, because she did make us eat vegetables and fruits. And what we know now, we didn't really over and understand then. We were just eating based on taste, and what you see on TV is healthier, because even around that time, even people were using the internet, but not so much to figure out what to eat, from other things. Yeah.
Okay. So even that, I'm surprised to hear, because it's just traditional, the way people eat just in general. So at some point you made a switch. So how did you start learning about this and make a decision that, hey, I want to do something different with the way I eat and live?
So my wife and I had our last 2 children at home with a midwife. The first experience with my daughter Shia, the midwife brought some herbs to help my wife heal faster, and they worked. So it really sparked her interest first, and she started to study herbs and was taking some classes. And then the teacher offered for family and friends to come on a herb walk in Oakland, and we went around the lake. And then we also went to another herbal garden in Oakland. And the lake stood out to me because before we got halfway around, she pointed out about 40 different herbs that were good for many different conditions. And one of them was headaches, and I suffered from headaches from pretty much day one. I can't remember not getting headaches. And my dad got headaches as well. And, he's like, just take some Excedrin or take some Tylenol, and that's the typical way of dealing with it. It's like, you get pain, well, let's take something to get rid of the pain. And then as I got older, at times, I'd get nauseated or might even be hospitalized if the, over-the-counter is not working. I couldn't stomach any kind of like Narcos or any kind of heavy medication. As soon as I put it in, my body rejects automatically. So I would have to go to the hospital, get promethazine in an IV to stop the nausea, and then they'll bring in the morphine or whatever to stop the headaches.
Wow.
So she pointed out feverfew when we were walking around the lake and said, this is very good for pain and inflammation in general. It's really good for headaches. So I said, well, maybe I'll go to the herb shop and try some of that. So I did that. We went and got some feverfew, and it did take the pain away. I wouldn't say that it was a heavy dose or anything like that. It's not like super strong, but it did do the job. It took the pain away temporarily. So I was able to use that instead of the Tylenol and Excedrin and all the other stuff I was using to get rid of my headaches. And then I learned about sea moss and started taking it regularly, like every day, because I was interested in the minerals. It's like, okay, I'm feeding my body. I'm starting to kind of understand a little bit more about herbs and how to use them properly. So I'm like, okay, let me start taking this sea moss. It's good for energy, good for minerals. That sounds like something I need to do. So I started taking that. And then I realized about a month in, I looked at my wife, I said, you notice I ain't took no medication or for pain or not even the feverfew. I haven't gotten a headache. And she was like, wow, that's true, you haven't. And then I said, well, I haven't changed anything other than consuming the sea moss. So then I looked up, I said, well, okay, can mineral depletion in the body cause headaches? And what do you know?
Sure
yes,
enough.
mineral depletion can cause headaches because a headache is an alarm. And that was the first time it kind of clicked in my head, like, wait a minute, the body is sending signals to us when it's in pain. It's not just, oh, just go take some pain medication to get rid of it. That's actually doing a disservice to the body because now you're blocking the sensories that focus on the fact that the pain is there, which is letting you know you need to change something. So just cutting the alarm off is not fixing the problem because you have to continuously keep taking the medication or even a herb. It's just replacing that medication. It's not dealing with the root cause. And the sea moss dealt with the root cause because for me, that particular pain was being rang at me because I wasn't eating foods that contain the proper mineral content to feed my body properly. So I finally ate something that was mineral dense, and then it's like my body's waking up. It's like, oh, I've been waiting for this for 15 years, Yeah, so then the headaches left,
How hard was it to start changing your diet? You've had now most of your life eating a certain way, and how long did it take for you to really phase all the way out of that?
For me, it's probably, my story is a little bit different than most people's because I can't learn something and then switch it off. My mental doesn't function that way. So I definitely didn't have any intentions on changing anything. Even when I started taking the sea moss, that was just something added to what I was already doing. Like
sea moss and PB&J.
Yeah, it's good for me, but I'm still about to eat this, you know. But yeah, somebody told me, they was like, you really shouldn't be eating meat, as I'm chewing on a burger. And it was like, telling me about the acid in there and all this. And, that's why everybody has diabetes and heart conditions and all these other ailments. That's why it takes so long for them to heal. Is they eating trash. And I'm like, what is he talking about? You know, somebody told me to watch What the Health, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, they gonna break down disease to you. They gonna break down this guy. His family was sick, and he was trying to avoid the same things that his family went through. So he started trying to figure out what happened. Like, why are they continuously getting the same disease over and over again? And he said, I think it really has something to do with what we're eating more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
So when I watched this, there was people with diabetes, with heart conditions, with all the same conditions that's supposedly running through my family, cancer, everything. And these people were just stopping meat and cheese and stuff like that. And then they're like, oh, I don't have diabetes no more.
Wow.
Like, no, literally, like, I'm watching this on, and then I was like, okay, whatever, this could be a hoax, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then the same guy that was interviewing these people that were changing their diets, you know, that could be anybody.
Mm-hmm.
He started going to the people who run these foundations, like the Heart Foundation and the Diabetes Foundation, and he's questioning them about the food list on their website and saying, how are you having these people eat these foods, and this is what causes these conditions? And these people were really running from these questions. Like, they literally either tried to denounce it or be like, no, we're not having this conversation. Not doing this.
They didn't want to be on Front Street.
Yeah, and then even there was a lady who was like the head of a hospital, and she agreed to do the interview until she read that he wanted to talk about food and its association with disease.
Mm-hmm.
So then he caught her outside of the building, and he had a camera on his shoe. And
not the shoe camera.
yeah, so she wouldn't know that she was being filmed.
Mm-hmm.
And then he questioned her, like, why did you cancel the interview? And she said, oh, because, you know, people have to be sick. Like, this is our business. This is how we make money. You know, so when I start seeing that, then I'm like, okay, this is strategically done. This is not, you know, people aren't just getting sick, or disease is not just running in somebody's family. These are bad lifestyle choices, and we're being trained by our own people to continuously walk off the same cliff that somebody else just walked off of. I mean, we literally bury somebody and then go to the church dining room and eat the same food that just put them in the box. Wow. You know, like,
okay.
And then we get real crazy with it. We can go real deep with it to where we praying to the Most High to bless some food that we was told not to even eat. Because even in the good books, if we start in the first chapter, it says every seed-bearing fruit is for your meat.
Wow.
And the herbs are for the healing of the nations, you know. So it's there, and the human body never changed. And I know that there's different parts of that book that will say that you can eat meat after the fall, but I think we all have access to the garden still. And if that's when it was perfect, why would we emulate anything outside of that? You know, it just don't make any sense. And even the way we're built physiologically, we're not meant to be able to eat meat. Like, we wasn't always privy to having pots and pans and guns and knives and even seasoning. Like, you got 15 different salts and powders, you know, herbs and stuff, all in one shaker bottle. That's some of the first wars was over seasoning. So it's not something that was just easily accessible like that. And, you know, most people didn't know how to season stuff. And if you think about it, if we really like the meat, and I keep touching the meat because that's one of the things that people feel like, oh, I need my protein, I have to eat meat, you know, what am I going to do for protein? Well, look at the biggest, strongest animals in nature. Where they getting their protein from?
Herbivores.
Yeah, the herbivores. They eat nothing but vegetation, you know what I'm saying? And then you got silverback gorilla. They don't eat no meat at all, and they're big, huge, strong, you know.
So let me ask you. Let me ask you this. It sounds like I was going to ask you about the fact that there's so much conflicting information about like what the real culprit is. Some people say it's sodium. A lot of people feel like it's fat. Lots of people feel like it's sugar. I feel like I hear you saying, though, meat and dairy.
Well, I wouldn't say it's only that. It's all the acidic foods. So meat is one of the biggest problems in my personal opinion because it's very hard for us to break down and process in our body. So it's going to cause clogging and plumbing issues along with starch, which is a man-made concoction like the pasta, the breads, the rice, potatoes, tortillas. That's like glue. So the body, the only reason why you even get hungry is like your gas light coming in your car. Your body is saying it needs to replenish what it used up. And just me talking and moving my hands and doing everything I'm doing is burning minerals. And the body's made of roughly around 102 minerals. And within those 102 minerals, every single part of your body feeds off certain particular ones. Like you need magnesium for your heart, iodine for your thyroid, chromium for your pancreas, iron for the transfer of oxygen throughout your body. So all these minerals go to different parts of your body by way of your bloodstream, which is like the Uber driver that drops off those minerals wherever you're lacking those minerals.
Okay.
If we've eaten foods that contain those minerals. So the food is an energy source. You see what I'm saying? It's to replenish. So we would even know when we did the right thing because after you eat, how do you feel? Like if you eat some pasta and bread and, or a burrito, you feel like running around the block after that?
Probably not.
You see what I'm saying? So it did the opposite of what your body was asking for. And if it didn't edify you or give you nutrition or energy, then it did the opposite. So it took energy, which drained your organs. And then what ends up happening is before that food fully processes through your system, you're going to get hungry again because now your body's still looking for what it didn't get. Because most people eat until they're what?
Full.
Right. And I don't even think we really think about what that word means. If you have a bowl, in order for that bowl to be full, you have to put so much of whatever content that is that you can't put anymore. You stuffed it.
Yep.
So we just couldn't eat anymore. But that doesn't mean that we ate anything that the body was actually looking for.
Got it.
You see what I'm saying?
You know what? This is, as we sit here, so we're in your shop, we're surrounded by all of these products, and it makes me think about the fact that this is a lot broader than just food because there are the everyday things. There's soap and lotion and deodorant and toothpaste.
That's all food.
Well, yeah, I guess you can, like skin food, hair food.
Everything. Anything that you're using your senses for is, it needs to be edifying you. Otherwise, it's like a parasite. It's doing the opposite. So what you watch, what you see with your eyes is going in and registering with your brain. What you taste, smell, hear, it's all has to go and register with your brain. So it's going in and you're absorbing that. So that's eating.
Okay.
So even the people you're around, they're either uplifting or they're draining or they're a parasite. Yeah.
When I listen to you talk, and I'm sure some people who will hear this maybe will or have felt the same. It can be overwhelming for people to think about overhauling so many areas of their life at once. So then instead of just doing something, they just stay exactly where they are. If you had to talk about small changes people can start to make that over time will become effective, what are some of those small changes?
Well, sometimes it's hard to eliminate stuff that you're accustomed to, but it's easier to add. So you just add the better stuff and learn how to appreciate and like that more. And then as you can eliminate the things that you shouldn't be doing. But I think what really helps with that process is killing the parasites in your body. Internal and external. So the external environment.
Say more about that.
Well, yeah, the external environment would be, once again, the energies you allow to surround you. that's either going to, support your positive growth or it's going to hinder you. Now, the internal parasites come from the food we eat as well, or animals, being around animals, letting them lick on you and lay in the bed with you and stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
not the pets.
Yeah, they carry a lot of parasites and worms.
Even the indoor pets?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, for sure the pets. But when we eat meat, all meat has parasites and worms. Fish and pork have the most. So we're carrying them in our body, and a lot of them are heat resistant, so you can't cook them out. And we get lots of pinworms, which are intestinal parasites. The fish has like the tapeworms. And these worms, they will hijack your central nervous system and make you crave what they want. Because no one would naturally hurt themselves intentionally unless something was off with them. You know what I'm saying? But there's something controlling their thoughts. And the reason why I say this is because most people have come to the conclusion that sugar is bad at this point.
Yeah.
That's not something that's just like cigarettes, right? That's not something that's hidden anymore. Some people may have a difference in opinion about meat, but it's almost everyone knows that sugar is bad, right? Sugar is poison. It's like cocaine. It's only missing the hydrogen element off the periodic table. So it's literally one element away from being cocaine, but it's more addictive because it's sweet, right? So my point is, what would make somebody put that in their body knowing that it's hurting them? Why would they still do that unless something else was controlling their thoughts? So this happens with the meats, this happens with the starches, it happens with things that have vinegar in it. Your body starts to crave these things based upon what these parasites want to feed off of.
Did you say vinegar?
Yeah, your body can create vinegar and alcohol and all these substances too with improperly mixing your foods together. These cause fermentations. So ferment fruit, you can make alcohol, right? So if you eat a jelly donut, well, the starch and the sugar and the fruit are not going to process at the same rate. So if the fruit sits longer than it should, then it can ferment into alcohol.
Damn. All right. I knew I was going to be learning some sobering information today, y'all. I was already prepared. We're in this space, societally speaking, where people want and have access to quick fixes, right? GLP-1s are the flavor of the day right now. And I think a lot of times that can be the result of people feeling skeptical about how long it's going to take, when am I going to see a result, when am I going to see evidence of doing this kind of treatment instead. So when you talk to people who are transitioning to a more naturalistic lifestyle, how long is it before, and I'm sure it's different for everybody, but how long is it before people start to feel differently? Or should they come into this expecting, same way like if you got a prescription and sometimes they got to play around with it and you try more or less or different things, should people approach this with that same mentality of having to try more or less in different combinations to find what works for them?
Well, no. I would say that when I deal with people that come in here, if they have a condition, I'm going to, even my staff is going to suggest that they do a consultation. So they're not just grabbing herbs and going about their way. I'm going to analyze what's happening with them first. So one of the very first questions is how's your digestion? And the average person, because they're not eating right, just like doctors and the pharmacists have all these specific medications that they know they're going to need. They know this because they know what you're eating. So they know what to have on deck They know you're going to be in pain, so they got plenty of stuff for pain. They know everybody's got diabetes, so they got plenty of medication for diabetes. So it's the same thing. I know that the average person is not defecating every day. So if they're not defecating every day, then that's going to tell me why they probably have eczema. If their kidneys aren't functioning properly, then that can tell me why their body's creating tumors. See what I'm saying? Because everything is about waste accumulating, and wherever that waste accumulated at is where you're going to get that disease reaction. Oh. So why it accumulated is all I need to know, is where the blockage is at, where's the clogging at that stopped the waste from either being eliminated or halted your body's natural defense system from fighting off whatever shouldn't have been there. Mm. So if your defense system functions, like, which is your lymphatic system, we all heard of the immune system, mm-hmm. but nobody ever told you what system out of the 12 systems that you have is that system that is supposed to give you immunity. And it does this because it's a defense system. It's an army that travels throughout your lymph fluid all over your body like your bloodstream does and attacks whatever shouldn't be there, and then sends it to the bloodstream to be removed by the kidneys and flushed out when you urinate. Mm-hmm. And then the other trash, the big trash, the macro waste, goes out when you defecate. Mm-hmm. But if you can't defecate every day, or you're not having enough bowel movements every day, then that means waste is going to back up in your intestines. And then most oftentimes, the body's going to showcase these things too. Mm-hmm. You know, so like we got bags under the eyes, dark circles there, and that's automatically telling me that the kidneys are not functioning properly and that the waste is backing up in the body. Mm-hmm. So they're going to walk out of here knowing what is happening, why it happened, and then what they need to do to work with their body to be able to repair and heal itself. See what I'm saying?
Okay, so this is not a Target experience, y'all, where you come in and you just peruse the aisles and buy some things. Yeah. Like, you really need to know what you need and what you're getting. And I can understand because, you know, health insurance doesn't cover this kind of thing. It barely covers if you want to see a holistic or a naturalistic physician. So,
and we don't want to create patches, because that's what that side of things does. It's dealing with symptoms and reactions, but not the root cause. Like, you got high blood pressure, but why did the body raise the pressure? You could take blood pressure medication or blood pressure herbs to force it down, but if the problem is because the kidneys aren't cleaning the blood properly, then all you have to do is clean the kidneys, and then the body will naturally bring the blood pressure down. See what I'm
saying? Okay. Okay. Systems, child. I have many questions. A lot of times, to that same point where we talked about people wanting quick fixes, a lot of that is because there's an inherent assumption about health or the lack of health based on people's body type, body size. It's based on optics. And I wonder what your thoughts are about whether or not that's valid, or if it's not, what do you think are valid indicators or early signs for people you need to get yourself to a herbal shop?
Not having bowel movements every day. That's, you got any kind of skin issues, pain, any of the alarms going off in the body. And contrary to what most people have been told, everybody's bowels don't move differently. They move differently based upon how many times they eat a day. But if you eat 2 times a day and this person eat 4 times a day, yeah, your bowel's going to be different because they ate 4 times, so they're going to defecate 4 times if their bowels are moving properly. But if they ate 4 times and they only went 2 times, then they got a traffic jam.
Oh, so your elimination sessions should match the number of times you ate.
That's correct.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Not just I go dailies. No. Like, well, how many times did you eat that day?
That's right. Because if you even look at an animal, when they eat, within 30 to 45 minutes, they're defecating. And if they're not, if they have a digestive issue, like a dog per se, they know what to go eat to get their bowels moving. They're going to eat some grass. Even though that's not something that they eat on a regular basis. But they know what to go to get their bowels moving. Yeah, I mean, the animals are very in tune. If we pay attention to nature a little bit more, and that's part of the problem here, is we detach from our natural environment. So we don't know who we are, nor do we over and understand nature. We go to the grocery store and buy these foods, but we have no idea what's really happening in nature for real. And like carnivores, animals that eat animals, like a lion and a hyena, they live in the same environment. But I bet you if you watch the Nature Channel, you've never seen a lion eat a hyena. They'll kill a hyena.
I was about to say, I feel like I have.
They fight.
Okay.
But when they're fighting, what are they usually fighting over?
Like
food.
Food.
What, like a hyena might be, a pack of hyenas might be eating on a zebra or a gazelle. And then here come the lion trying to take their food, or vice versa. Right? So why are they fighting over food? If the lion could just kill a hyena and eat it, why does it matter? If it's meat, that's how we do. We go to the store, get some chicken, steak, pork, turkey. Might even end up on the same plate, right? But they'll kill the hyena, the lion, and take the zebra or gazelle because they ate from the ground. Carnivores eat animals that eat from the ground because they have a higher source of energy. So everything is really intentional. Like what we do should really matter. All the decisions that we make, especially what we putting in our temple. You see what I'm saying? But we're just not. Before we leave the porch, the first thing we should know is how we function. Like, why do you have two kidneys? What is their function in the body? What system do they function in the body? These are the things we need to know for ourselves. Then we wouldn't be like when we buy a car. The average person don't know nothing but how to drive the car. So then it overheats. Now you're taking it to the shop and you pray and hope that they tell you the truth about what's happening with it. It could be a simple $300 thermostat, labor included, but they could charge you $4,000, tell you engine block is wrong, right? Same thing. You go to the hospital. Oh, I'm hurting right here. Oh, your gallbladder's inflamed. But we're not even paying attention to the words that they're telling us. It's inflamed. We just in pain. We just want to feel better right now, right? So we'll remove it. We're gonna take it out. Well, I need my gallbladder. Take my gallbladder out. What you talking about? Because it's on fire? That's what inflamed means. So why don't you put the fire out? But they just demolition it. See what I mean? But putting the fire out would be eating antioxidants like the berries and the fruits, and leaving the acidic foods alone, like the meats. That's uric acid. Dairy is lactic acid. Sugar is acid. Beans is phytic acid. Starch is carbonic acid. And what does acid do to stuff? It eats it up. It burns it up. It destroys it. So that's why we're in flames, because we're eating acidic foods. So all they have to do is tell you, stop eating, put the fire out by stop eating the fire, and then eat the foods that put the fire out.
You know what I feel like I'm thinking as I hear you say this? It's particularly around the kind of work I do. Food is so connected to celebratory experiences.
Absolutely.
Right? Just on a family level, baby showers, weddings, events. Even you mentioned, things like funerals. But also, restaurant openings and, content creation and all the things. It's very much a mental shift to start looking at food as function and not as, I don't want to say entertainment. That's not the right word. It's like
gas. It's like fuel. It's energy.
That's all it is. Switch.
It's energy. It's the sun is the highest source of energy on the planet. And it's giving life to everything underneath it. And what are the plants doing between 12 noon and when the sun goes down? Reaching up, grabbing that energy, all those biophotons. And then, see the lines in my hand? Don't they look like the lines in the leaves?
They do.
Right? So the leaves have solar panels. That's what the leaves are. They're solar panels. And these are my solar panels. So when I pray or meditate, my hands are not closed, but they're open to the sun to absorb the biophoton energy, not block my energy. And then my feet are also portals to absorb nutrients, to remove toxins and bacteria. I can balance my blood pressure, realign my central nervous system, all this from the soles of my feet. So this showcases how we have a direct relationship with nature and the sun. We're just like a plant. And we're also timed to nature's clock, which is the circadian rhythm. Mm-hmm. So while the plants are eating and while the sun is up, our digestive system is timed to that. So when the sun goes down, your digestive system naturally turns off with the sun. And then we don't eat anything heavy after that. Otherwise, we're going to force the digestive system to turn back on. And then when you're supposed to be fasting, when you're asleep, your body's still
working,
digesting and doing all this other work that it's not prepared to do during that time. It really wants to repair and regenerate and revitalize. And this is what keeps us healthy as well, because the pineal gland, which is in the core of your skull, it releases melatonin, mm-hmm. which helps you get into a relaxed sleep mode around 8, 9 p.m. So 10 p.m. we should be in the bed. So 2 a.m. the body can get into that reparative, regenerative state. But if we just ate at 10 p.m. before we lay down, then it's digesting and breaking down. And then all these fluorescent lights and all this stuff, sleeping with the lights on and the TV on, that tricks your pineal gland into thinking it's daytime because it's triggered by light and dark. So everything is all in unison with each other. We're a part of the Earth's body. Mm-hmm. All right? The Earth is 80% water. So are you. So the key to this whole experience that we're having here is to understand what this body is for. Mm-hmm. It is a learning tool. And we have to keep it at its best to get the best from this experience that we're experiencing here. We're mm-hmm. supposed to be learning. That's what all of our senses give us the ability to do. But we're sick because we're trying to become the best us. Mm-hmm. At least that's what we're supposed to be striving for, right? And depending on what you believe in, it could be elevating your kundalini or aligning your chakras to that extreme level, or becoming Christ conscious. But how could we possibly do that if we're contaminated on every single chakra level? See what I'm saying? So all of it, the mind, spirit, body, and soul, the earth, all the animals, the reason why the lions and the hyenas don't deviate, because they're all part of the same train. They're just a different function within the same body. Mm-hmm. So they're not even going to eat too many gazelles in one day. They're not gonna overconsume. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like a cow, they're a herbivore. So they eat grass and they drink water. So because they're in alignment with the Most High in nature, then when they defecate, they sell cow manure as fertilizer because they ate from the ground. So therefore you can put it back in the ground. So nature doesn't even create waste. There's no such thing as wasting. Only man creates waste. But if we functioned in alignment with nature, then we wouldn't be creating any waste either. Because if we ate from the ground, then we could also defecate back into the ground and help that cycle. But because we eat acidic foods, our urine and our defecation is too acidic. So if we put that in the ground, it's going to kill the plants. See what I'm saying? So we're throwing off not just ourselves, but each other, the animals, and the whole cycle of life here on the planet.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So it's bigger than just what we want to
do. Clearly. You know, we have been talking about food, and in addition to herbs and tinctures, which, you know, supplements, mm-hmm. you sell all of that. Mm-hmm. But y'all also have a food program mm-hmm. that happens out of here as well. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about what is offered and who's the chef that makes the food.
So we got a few different chefs.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the base of things, like I'll make that in the AM, but then we do have a kitchen, and we got pretty much all of us just kind of switch around depending on what's going on. Like if I'm needed to run the shop over here on this side, then I'm here, and somebody else is chefing over there. But we all know how to make pretty much everything that we serve here. Like most of the pastas and things like that, I'll make because I got my signature sauces and stuff that I put together.
Okay, now.
Yeah. But aside from that, they all. Brother Peace, he cooks Monday through Wednesday, and then Ariana does like Thursday through Sunday. Yeah.
I saw the oyster mushrooms. They look really, really good.
Yeah.
I got to come back up here one day, earlier to be able
try
to
the
get
food.
some food.
Yeah, the oyster mushrooms that has to be on the menu every single day, or they will be angry.
People will be like, that's mushrooms.
That's the fried chicken replacement.
A lot of things replacement. It gives you, I've had that in other settings. It does give you that feeling and that mouthfeel of meat if you must. So if you're trying to, transition out, you've got to. And, there's so many, eat right for your blood type. I'm eating a Mediterranean diet. I'm doing, keto. It's so hard for people to tell what they really need. So it's like the consultation sounds like it's key.
Yeah. And, we've been displaced so much and taken off of our natural way. I mean, we can't even associate ourselves with a proper landmass or language or anything like that. So, it's hard for us to figure out our phenotype because that's what would really tell us what us as individuals are supposed to be consuming, because depending on what landmass you originate from, whatever fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds grew in that particular region of the world is what would be optimal for you. Just like you got certain animals, they're from Australia. You got other ones from native to here. Well, whatever naturally grew here is what would be best for them. As well as the different species of animals, the ones that eat meat, whatever animals that were here that they fed off of is the proper environment for them. Okay. And when we, it's the same thing as anything else. When we displace the animals, when we displace ourselves, then if you didn't take your food with you, then, see what I'm saying? And then you can't even do that because something that grows in Africa would have a problem growing out here because the climate, the soil, everything is completely different. So if you could figure out your phenotype, that's what would tell you exactly what you're supposed to eat within what a frugivore is supposed to consume. So just because there was these animals over there don't mean you were supposed to be eating animals, period. Okay. You see what I'm saying? So my point is alkaline foods, which are natural fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds that were here before man, no hybrids. I'm not talking about a cran apple or, that's not.
We get creative, right?
That's not natural to nature. So,
fluot.
All that manipulated stuff we need to stay away from. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing where, everybody has to be involved. I know you mentioned your wife, and she does a lot of fun content too about like just walking around, and there's so many, like you said, at the lake, there's so many things around that it's like right under your nose.
It is. Everything is really.
Yeah.
We just are taught to not pay attention. We're taught to be dependent. That's the only reason why fast food is even available, because nobody wants to do anything for themselves. AI, everything is done for you. So, it's just getting further away from people. Shoot, my great-grandmother had a garden, and then my grandparents didn't. Well, my grandfather did, but on my mother's side, it stopped after my great-grandmother. And then on my dad's side, my grandfather did, and then my auntie Helen. I can't remember anybody else. Like they cutting down the trees and fruit trees and everything. Nothing is available no more.
We're getting back to that now.
That's a good thing.
People got gardens.
Right.
People are using their citrus trees. The lemon trees are going to be in
Mm-hmm.
bloom here,
Mm-hmm.
in California,
Mm-hmm.
farmers markets. That's one thing. I'm from the
Mm-hmm.
East Coast originally, so
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing that I have loved about living in the Bay is like year round. You
Oh
can
yeah,
pull up
there's
to these
lots of
farmers
farmer
markets
markets.
and really
Yeah,
get it in.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm
You can even find seeded grapes.
I haven't found seeded grapes.
Yeah, you can find
Okay,
seeded
so now I
grapes.
need to look.
Yeah.
As we sit here surrounded by
Mm-hmm.
watermelons, which I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure are seeded.
Yeah, yeah. Black seeds.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you need your watermelon,
Black
y'all,
seeds,
you
black
come get it
farmer.
here. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
The holidays are right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
We know what that means for, as far as people's consumption habits over the next 2 to 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So for people who are not going to do a complete about face,
Mm-hmm.
what do you suggest are like 1 or 2 small changes they can make during this time of year to be a little bit more conscious of what they're eating?
Well, I mean, like I said earlier, incorporating more of the good stuff, like being conscious of eating more fruit every day, more vegetables. But it's kind of hard for me to touch on this 'cause I don't really deal with
like
the
I ain't in
holidays
there.
at all. I don't, it's so many things I can say about the holidays.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it ain't a holiday to me.
He's like,
It's,
do what you do.
yeah, it's just most people do quite a bit of damage to themselves during just that the couple months. Yeah, and I would say create better habits for yourself. Really, just and we got to stop getting caught up in that stuff like that. Like, I don't expect everybody to flip the switch overnight like that. Like for me, yeah, I could watch What the Health and seeing all the different changes that helped a lot of people, and then seeing how these people were avoiding these questions, and that was enough for me to do my own research and see for myself that this is it tonight. Like I'm not doing this no more after that.
Day of.
No,
That's
for real.
it.
Yeah, and then I mean literally, there's some deep work internally and mentally that needs to be done if you can watch something like that, to me, and still want to engage in that. It's just because it's like you want to be sick. Like this is clear. It's not even. There's no way around this. Like all the things that I would have asked, like, oh, is this a real person? And then you look up these people, and it's the same person that was sitting here in this interview running from this question. That's undeniable. Like, you see what I'm saying? So I can't be in that same. I can't walk off the same cliff. So Thanksgiving and Christmas, or whatever, birthday, and it's not worth it. There's many other things that you can consume that taste good. That you won't be missing anything. There's people who make alkaline vegan Thanksgiving dinners all the time.
This is true.
And if you know how to season, then you know how to season. It's just thinking out the box, because you don't like half the stuff you eat anyway. You don't like meat, because you're not going to just grab a chicken, skin it, and bite into it. You're not going to grab a chicken and just toss it in some water and boil it and eat it either. You're not going to fry it and just eat it either. You're not going to saute it and eat it. You need some seasoning. And then what are you seasoning it with? Herbs and spices. So you're attracted to the stuff that comes from the ground that you put on the meat. So you don't even really like the meat.
I didn't think about it like that. Okay.
Yeah, so a carnivore just bite into an animal, just like what you got to do with your watermelon. Cut it open and eat it.
Okay.
You ain't got to season it. You don't need no barbecue
No
sauce.
Okay. Just eat the watermelon, y'all. Let's all stop putting lime and tahini on the watermelon. Just for a minute. Let's just eat it as it is. It's nice and
But
sweet.
you can, is what I'm saying. Like, you like it in its natural state.
Yeah.
You'll just eat an apple. You wash it off and eat it. So what's meant for us, we actually like it. Just like a cow don't need salad dressing for their vegetables. They eat it like it is. And their body is built physiologically with the capability to be able to break down the cellulose content that makes up the vegetables. Like the vegetables are more coarse and take a long time to process through your body. Like the cows have 2 stomachs and intestines that's 20 times the length of their body, where a human's intestines is only 9 times the length of their body. A carnivore is only 1.5 to 3 times the length of their body. So you see, we have some of the same organs, but they're different sizes and they function differently based upon what it is that we're supposed to be putting in our bodies.
All right. Well, you gave me, and I'm sure everybody listening to this, a lot to think about. A lot to think about. I'm going to close us out with a couple of questions that I'll call problem versus supplement or remedy or herb, right? I'll just say like 4 or 5 common things and just say something that people should be thinking about investigating to deal with that. Okay. So hair thinning.
Hair thinning, mineral depletion, calcification in the brain area, clogging, like in your lymph nodes, like your tonsils, lymph nodes behind your head, behind your ear. If your drainage is off balance, then waste will accumulate in your head region. And then, for example, like a person have alopecia, hits in sections. And the reason why is because there's toxins and parasites or bacteria building up. And then your defense system goes and attacks that area. And if your adrenal glands don't send a message to say, we got hair follicles over there, leave them alone, then they'll get destroyed as innocent bystanders. So changing the diet, making sure the gut is clean, which is how the rest of the body gets fed. And then you can add nutrients and mineral content to your head as well with oils that have like rosemary, sea moss, and there's plenty of faux root, tons of different herbs that you can
try.
Yeah,
what about perimenopause symptoms? Everyone's on hormone replacement therapy right now.
Yeah, so adrenal glands again, because the adrenal glands are 2 pyramid-shaped organs that sit on both of your kidneys, and they're like a communication center for many areas of the body, but they regulate hormone production. So you want to make sure that your kidneys and adrenals are functioning the way they should. You can easily check your kidneys by getting a mason jar or any kind of clear glass jar that you can cover, and you want to catch your first urine in the AM, cover that jar and let it sit for a whole 24 hours, and you're checking for particles, cloudiness, or a sand-like texture on the bottom of the jar, floating or sitting on the bottom. And if you do see that, that's a good sign that the kidneys are getting the waste out the blood properly. If it's clear, even if it's yellow, but you don't see any sediment, then the kidneys are backed up, and that will also let you know that more than likely your adrenal glands are off balance too, and that could be the culprit as to the reason why your hormonal imbalances are happening. Eating a high fruit diet helps to rebalance your hormones. And then there's an herb, there's 2 herbs, Jamaican dog blood helps to regulate the whole woman's reproductive system, from hormones to from juvenile all the way to menopause. And same thing with another herb called false unicorn root, and that one will help to balance the hormones as well.
All right, y'all. All right, I'll ask you one more. I'm just keep it real. This is personal for me. Getting off caffeine. People who need 1 and 2 and 3 cups of coffee every day.
So for me, I would ask them why they are using it. What are they getting from it? If it's energy, then there's lots of different herbs that we could use for that. Like for a quick jolt of energy, then like Tungkat Ali. You can feel that within 5 minutes of taking it. You just take like a 1/4 teaspoon to a 1/2 teaspoon of the powder and put it in some water or juice and just take a shot, and boom, 5 minutes you'll feel it. And it could be used as a pre-workout too, and it can enhance many other things as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, I'm going to have to circle back here during y'all's open hours. First of all, I want to try the food.
Oh, yeah.
But second of all, I would be interested to come back and get a consultation because just some of the things we've talked about in my mind, I'm like, okay, make note of that.
Absolutely.
Tell people about where they can find more information on your store and how they can schedule their own consultation.
Okay, so 4113 McDonald Avenue, Richmond, California is where we're located. You can find information at more on my Instagram page at Dasan the Medicine Man, DASANTHE, and then Medicine Man. And then we have our Naturally Herbs page as well at NATRULLY Herbs. But there's lots of food posts and stuff like that on there too. But
y'all do a good job of posting.
Thank you. But to see more like information about herbs and healing the body, then you want to go to the Dasan the Medicine Man page. But for booking a consultation on either of those pages, you can go to the link in the bio, or for anybody that's listening right now on the podcast, I'll give a 50% off. So they'll just need to reach you, and then I'll provide you with a link that can be sent to them.
Well, thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I think it's worth it to come up here and learn a little bit more. Whether you're going to make an about face, start with one or two things. I think it's good to just have information. So thank you so much for making time to talk with me about this today. I'm going to be thinking about a few of the things that you told me. I really appreciate it.
It's all good.
If y'all want to find me in between episodes, you can find me at kayinthebay.com or on Instagram at heykayinthebay. This has been this week's episode of the As Told By podcast from Richmond, and I'll see y'all on the next one.
See you soon.